Microsoft Scout, the AI agent that works while you sleep, powered by Openclaw. What if your computer could handle your entire workday before you even finished your morning coffee? Not just answer questions, but actually book meetings for you, then prepare your briefings and even spot problems before they happen. That sounds like a fiction, but just a week ago, Microsoft just dropped Microsoft Scout, and it's built on the same open-source framework that viral last year. On June 2nd at Microsoft Build, the company unveiled something different from anything they've released before. It's called Microsoft Scout, and it's not just another chatbot with a new coat of paint. Scout belongs to a brand new category that Microsoft call it Autopilot's always-on agents, where this agent don't wait for you to give them instructions. They work continuously in the background, understand how work flows through your apps and systems, and take action independently. And here's where it gets really interesting. Scout isn't built from scratch. It's built on Openclaw framework, the gateway that maybe every tech bros already know. The open-source AI agent framework that exploded earlier this year, spread through tech circles like wildfire, and fundamentally changed how people think about personal AI assistants. Microsoft took that raw, powerful technology and wrapped it in enterprise-grade security. The result is something that feels less like a tool and more like a colleague. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what Microsoft Scout is, how it works across the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, what it can actually do for you, and the security architecture that makes it safe enough for enterprise deployment. Let's dive in. Prompts. It's always running, always observing, always building context. The more you work with it, the more it understands not just what you do, but how you do it, your rhythms, your priorities, your preferences. This persistent learning relationship is what makes it feel less like software and more like a teammate who's been on the job for months. Section 2. How Scout works. Deep integration across Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Scout's real power comes from how it integrates with Microsoft 365. This isn't a standalone app you open separately. It's integrated across the apps you already use every single day, where RGA with Microsoft Environment was so good, you didn't need API to connect each app. It connects to Teams, Outlook, OneDrive, and SharePoint, and accesses the data that powers your work, your chats, emails, calendar, and contacts. But the integration are unique. Scout doesn't just read from these apps, it can act across them in coordinated ways that feel seamless. You can interact with Scout through Teams, but its reach extends far beyond that through a desktop application. This desktop app is the bridge between your cloud workspace and your local machine. It gives Scout access to your browser, files that live on your computer, and even external applications through Model Context Protocol servers. And then there's MCP, which extends Scout's reach beyond the Microsoft ecosystem. This is a standardized protocol that lets AI agents connect with external tools and services. Imagine Scout detecting that a project deadline is approaching in developer circles and simultaneously made enterprise security teams break out in cold sweats. The technology was too powerful to ignore and too unpolished to deploy in a corporate environment. That raw, experimental energy was exactly what made Openclaw compelling and exactly what made it too risky for the Fortune 500. Microsoft saw this tension and made a strategic decision that's worth paying attention to. Rather than building their own agent framework from scratch, the classic not invented here move that big tech companies have made for decades, they embraced Openclaw's innovation and added the enterprise security layer on top. And here's the part that matters for the open source community. Microsoft is contributing policy conformance directly upstream to Openclaw, the security improvements they're building for Scout flow back into the open source project. This is a fascinating model for how grassroots open source innovation gets adopted at the enterprise level. The Openclaw community solved the hard problem of making agents genuinely useful and flexible. What was missing wasn't capability, it was governance, identity management, access controls, audit trails, compliance verification. That's exactly what Microsoft excels at, and exactly what they layered on top of the open source foundation. Section 5, Security Architecture. How Microsoft made an autonomous agent safe for enterprise. Let's talk about the security. An AI that can act independently, read your emails, manage your calendar, and interact with your files sounds terrifying. Microsoft clearly understood this. Scout's security architecture was built from the ground up, not bolted on after the fact. Taking a narrower approach, ZoomMate focuses specifically on turning meeting conversations into completed work. Summaries, deliverables, action items, follow-up emails. It's less ambitious in scope, but potentially more polished in execution. OpenAI's Codex strategy is the most horizontal platform-agnostic plugins that can work across different environments without locking you into one ecosystem. What makes Scout's position unique in this race is the Openclaw foundation. While Google built Spark internally and Zoom developed ZoomMate in-house, Scout carries the DNA of a grassroots open-source movement. That gives it a fundamentally different development philosophy, more flexible, more community-driven, more hackable. The question is whether that open-source DNA translates into faster innovation or more unpredictability in enterprise settings. Currently, Scout is available only through Microsoft's Frontier program as an experimental release, requiring in-tune policy configuration and opt-in attestation. Users also need a GitHub Copilot license. Pricing hasn't been announced. It's unclear whether Scout will be included in the existing Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription at $30 per user per month or charged separately. With 20 million paid Copilot users as of May 2026, the addressable market is substantial. Microsoft Scout represents a genuine shift in how we think about AI assistants. We've spent the past few years getting comfortable with AI that responds to us, chatbots that answer questions, copilots that help us write, generators that create images and code on demand. Scout is the first major step into a different paradigm, AI that acts on our behalf.